Hi there, friend. I'm so glad you're here. If you've lived in your home for decades, then you know it's not just filled with things, it's filled with stories. Every room holds memories, every shelf, every drawer, a chapter from your life. That little teacup tucked in the back of the cabinet, it reminds you of a friend long gone. The drawer stuffed with birthday cards, full of laughter and love. Even the cluttered garage, the one you keep saying you'll get to, is a museum of old dreams and good intentions. And yet, what if your space is quietly asking for room to breathe again? This video isn't about getting rid of everything. It's not about becoming a minimalist overnight or tossing away things that still matter. No, this is about something much more personal and far more powerful. It's about making room for ease, room for clarity, room to live today with more lightness, more calm, and more freedom. Decluttering doesn't have to feel like loss. It can feel like love. Love for your home, love for your well-being, love for the life you're living now, not the one you lived 20 years ago. So grab a warm drink, get comfortable, and let's gently walk through 10 genius ways to find hidden storage space in your home, not just to make things neater, but to make life feel better. Let's begin. Let's begin not with a to-do list or a trash bag, but with a soft shift in how you see your home. Imagine this. You're moving soon, not in a rush, not in a panic, but into a simpler, more peaceful space. Maybe it's a one-level cottage near the water where the air smells like pine trees. Maybe it's a cozy apartment with sunlight pouring in and a small porch filled with plants. Or maybe it's your same home, just lighter, calmer, and more in tune with who you are today. Now walk through your current space in your mind, room by room. As you do, ask yourself one quiet but powerful question. Would I bring this with me? Would you take the stack of pans you haven't used since the big family holidays? Would you pack the dusty vase in the back of the cabinet or the stack of unread magazines in the hallway? Would those random plastic containers without matching lids be worth boxing up and carrying? This question isn't about pretending you're really moving. It's about giving yourself permission to look at your surroundings with new eyes, clear, honest, and kind ones. Because here's what often happens after years, sometimes decades, in the same home. We stop seeing what's around us. Our eyes slide past the clutter. Our hands keep things simply because they've always been there. And eventually, our spaces start holding more of our past than our present. But when you shift into a mindful moving mindset, you no longer see decluttering as losing things. You begin to see it as choosing what to carry forward into this next chapter of life, choosing what still brings value, comfort, beauty, or use. And just as importantly, choosing what no longer serves the life you're living now. But let's go one layer deeper. As you walk through your home, physically or in your imagination, don't just ask what you would take. Ask yourself, what do I want to feel when I enter this room? Do you want to feel peace? Do you want to feel freedom to move and breathe? Do you want to feel surrounded by warmth, not just from old objects, but from intentional ones? Because every object in our home carries a small emotional weight. It either adds to the feeling we want or quietly takes away from it. And when we don't stop to reassess, our spaces become unspoken museums of who we used to be, rather than reflections of who we are now. One woman I worked with once told me, I realized I had 25 coffee mugs, but I only ever used the same 3. And every time I opened the cabinet, it felt like my house was shouting at me instead of comforting me. She didn't need to become a minimalist. She just needed to realign her space with her life today. So I invite you to try this. Stand in any room and take a breath. Imagine you're moving into a smaller, brighter version of this life. Then slowly look around and ask, would I take this? Does it help me feel how I want to feel here? This simple mental reset is one of the most powerful ways to begin reclaiming your space. No boxes needed, just vision, kindness, and the courage to create a home that supports who you're becoming, not just who you've been. Now that you've begun to see your home with fresh eyes, it's time to look in places we usually overlook. Not the messiest drawer or the crowded closet, but the spaces that seem invisible, the ones hiding in plain sight. In every home, whether it's big or small, there are pockets of space just waiting to be discovered. I like to call it hidden real estate. These aren't square feet you have to renovate. They're inches, corners, slivers of space that can do so much more than we give them credit for. Start by looking up. Is there a space above your doors, above the windows? That's prime real estate for a slim shelf where you can store linens, books, or even display lightweight seasonal items you love but don't need every day. The top of your closets, what's up there? Often it's just dust and empty air, but it could be bins for extra bedding, off-season clothing, or cherished keepsakes. Next, look down. Under the bed is a classic example, but don't stop there. The toe kick space under kitchen cabinets can hold shallow pull-out drawers. Under the sofa, add slim boxes on wheels. Even the empty space beneath your armchair can store a few flat containers if the legs are high enough. And then, look around, behind cabinet doors, alongside furniture. Could the inside of a pantry door hold a slim spice rack? Could the side of your bathroom vanity hold a row of hooks for hair tools or jewelry? Could the back of your linen closet door become a vertical station for wrapping paper, scarves, or handbags? But let's go a little deeper with something you may not have tried: repurposing furniture structure itself. The legs of your dining table can be outfitted with hidden baskets or mounted hooks. The side of a tall dresser can host a small magazine rack or mail holder. Even the inner sides of large bookshelves can support hidden strips of pegboard for tools or small craft supplies. These little additions don't clutter your space, they optimize it, because when everything has a home, your mind rests easier too. One of my viewers, Claire from Vermont, added a slim bookshelf over the door in her laundry room and instantly freed up space in her cabinets. She told me, "I didn't add square footage, I just finally used it." So take a walk around your home, not to clean, not to rearrange, just to notice. The unused sides, the backs, the above and below. Let these overlooked areas remind you that your home has more to give. You don't need a bigger house. You just need to claim the space you already own. Now that you've started seeing hidden space in your home, let's talk about how to keep it that way, without ever feeling like you're giving something up. One of the simplest but most powerful habits to prevent clutter from creeping back in is the one in, one out rule. You've probably heard of it before. The idea is, for every new item you bring into your home, a sweater, a kitchen gadget, a pair of shoes, you let go of one you no longer use. It sounds easy, and it is. But here's the secret to making this habit actually stick. You have to make it visual. Start by creating what I call a donation drawer. It doesn't have to be fancy. A basket in your closet, a bin near your laundry area, or even a dedicated shelf in the garage. The key is that it's always ready and always visible. Anytime you bring something new into your space, drop one old item into this drawer. No drama, no stress, just a quiet trade-off. This simple shift turns letting go into something tangible. You can see the space you're clearing. You can feel the lightness returning. To take it even further, try printing a weekly chart and sticking it to the inside of a cabinet or closet door. Each week, aim for a goal. 5 things out, 3 things donated, 2 things sold. Check them off. Celebrate small wins. You can even invite a family member or friend to do the same and text each other pictures. This builds gentle accountability and reminds you you're not doing this alone. And here's the deeper insight. Letting go becomes easier when you start noticing what you're gaining. With every item that leaves your space, what enters is something far more valuable. A drawer that opens without jamming, a closet that lets your clothes breathe, a home that feels lighter, not just to walk through, but to live in. This is not about deprivation, it's about intention. You're not losing anything, you're curating your life. You're making room not just for objects, but for ease, clarity, and peace. So the next time you bring something home, pause, ask yourself, what's going out? And then make it simple, make it visual, and let your home quietly thank you. There's a small but powerful part of your home that quietly sets the tone for your entire day. It's the very first space you see when you step inside, and the last you touch before heading out. It's your entryway, and it holds more emotional weight than we give it credit for. For many of us, this space becomes a dumping ground. Piles of shoes, stray mail, bags dropped hastily, keys lost under scarves. It's not just clutter, it's friction. And without realizing it, we start every day stepping over stress. But what if your entryway could be something more? What if it became a transition space for energy? A place where the outside world stays at the door, and peace meets you as you enter. You don't need a remodel, you don't need fancy furniture. All you need is intention. Start with simplicity, a small bench for sitting, a few hooks on the wall for coats or bags, add a basket underneath for shoes, low enough that you don't need to bend, and most importantly, designate a mail zone. I recommend a 2-slot system, one labeled to sort and the other to shred. This one change alone can stop paper clutter from taking over your counters. Next, bring in warmth, a soft lamp with golden light, a vase with dried lavender or eucalyptus, a framed quote that calms your breath the moment you step inside. These are not decorations, they're invitations to slow down, to arrive fully. Lena, a 72-year-old from Washington, told me that after adding a bench and a single hook for her purse, she stopped losing things and started feeling welcome by her own home again. This space isn't just about function, it's emotional. It tells your nervous system, you're home, you're safe, you can exhale now. So if your entryway has become a source of tension, take 30 minutes this week to shift it. Clear the floor, add a light, hang a hook, give your daily life a soft place to land. Let your home greet you with grace, not clutter, because the way you enter your space often determines the energy you carry inside it. Let's talk about one of the simplest, smartest changes you can make in your home. One that brings more clarity, more calm, and surprisingly, more control. It's the power of clear storage. Why does this work so well? Because you can't use what you can't see. And when things are hidden away in dark bins or mismatched boxes, they don't just create mess, they create mental noise. Clear storage solves that instantly. It's more than a visual preference, it's a brain-friendly strategy. When you look into your closet and can immediately see your winter scarves, your travel toiletries, or your crafting tools, you know where things are. You don't have to dig, you don't waste time, and you certainly don't rebuy things you already own. But don't stop at the garage or basement. Take this idea into your bedroom drawers, your bathroom cabinets, and even your workspace. A clear bin inside your nightstand can separate chargers and hand creams. One in your desk can hold sticky notes and pens. In the closet, use stackable transparent boxes for shoes or sweaters. Suddenly, everything feels intentional, not buried. And here's the secret to making this strategy truly yours. Label everything by hand. Yes, by hand, not typed, not printed. Because when you write the label, it triggers a sense of ownership, of order, of peace. It doesn't have to be fancy. A black marker, a strip of masking tape, just enough to say, I know what this is, I chose where it goes, and I'll know exactly where to find it. One woman I worked with told me, switching to clear bins didn't just clear my shelves, it cleared my head. And that's the real reward here. When you can see what you own, you remember who you are, not buried, not overwhelmed, but clear, capable, and in control. Because visibility isn't about vanity, it's about peace. There's a quiet kind of magic in giving something old a new purpose. Not because it saves space or money, though it does, but because it honors what already exists. It says, you still matter. Repurposing isn't just a clever storage hack, it's an act of connection. A way to breathe new life into the forgotten, the tucked away, the almost thrown out. Look around your home. That dusty picture frame with no glass? What if you added a wire grid or a cork backing and turned it into a message board, somewhere to pin recipes, affirmations, or a note from your grandchild? Or that vintage tin box you haven't used in years? Line it with seed packets and turn it into a little planting station on your windowsill. Let it hold new beginnings. Even a drawer full of mismatched mugs. What if each one became a planter for succulents, a toothbrush holder in the guest bathroom, a pencil cup for your workspace? But here's the beautiful part. Don't do this alone. Invite someone into the experience, a child, a grandchild, a dear friend. Say, let's find something old and turn it into something meaningful. These small acts become more than crafts, they become memories. A repurposed basket becomes the holder of family recipes. An old ladder becomes the shelf for storybooks you read aloud on Sunday afternoons. Tom, one of our subscribers from Oregon, shared how he took his wife's old jewelry box and transformed it into a keepsake drawer for letters and small photo prints. Now, he said, it holds more than jewelry. It holds legacy. And isn't that what we all want? To be useful again in a different season. To be seen, not as outdated, but as adaptable, needed, still beautiful. Because every item deserves a second chance, just like we do. So the next time you're about to toss something aside, pause. Look at it not for what it was, but for what it could become. You might just fall in love with it all over again. We often think of decluttering as an event, a weekend task, a massive overhaul. But the truth is, the most powerful shifts happen in the smallest moments. Enter what I call the 10-minute ritual. Just 10 minutes. Every evening. Not to clean, not to rush, but to release gently. This isn't a chore. It's a wind down. A moment to care for your space the way you'd care for something you love. Just like brushing your teeth or watering your plants, it becomes a sacred rhythm. Start by choosing one small area, a drawer, a shelf, a corner. Light a candle. Put on a soft playlist, maybe classical, maybe nature sounds, maybe your favorite oldies on low volume. Let it become background comfort as you tidy just one thing. No pressure to finish. No expectation to conquer. Just presence. Set a gentle timer if it helps. 10 minutes. That's all. Sort, toss, straighten, breathe, sip your tea. Let it be easy. This ritual does more than keep your home in order. It gives your brain closure at the end of the day. It transitions you from the noise of life to the calm of rest. One woman in our community said she now declutters with her husband every night after dinner. It's our way of slowing down, she shared. He plays the music, I light the candle. We end the day together not with screens, but with presence. This isn't about organizing. It's about healing, about noticing the spaces that have held you and giving back to them little by little. So tonight, instead of scrolling or rushing through chores, try this. Choose one drawer, turn on something soft, and let your home exhale. One drawer at a time. Because the little things, they're never little. As we grow older, one truth becomes clear. Your home should work with you, not against you. And yet, many of us still keep the most used items out of reach. High cabinets, low drawers, step stools in the middle of the kitchen. But the more we have to climb, stretch, or stoop, the more our homes become obstacles instead of allies. Here's the shift. Store based on how often you use it, not how big it is. Use the smart reach rule. If you use it daily, it should live between your shoulders and knees, your comfort zone. No bending, no tiptoes, no risk. Start with the kitchen. Install pull-out trays in your lower cabinet so pots and pans glide out without strain. Use rotating lazy Susans in pantry corners so you never have to reach to the back. Mount a sensor light inside deep cabinets so you see clearly without fumbling. In closets, bring everyday shoes to waist height. Keep off-season clothing higher up and less used items below. Label bins so you don't have to guess. The goal is simple. Design your space for how you move now, not how you moved 20 years ago. No more dragging chairs just to reach vitamins. No more crouching to find that one lid. Every shift you make is a gift to your body and a step toward more ease, more confidence, more safety at home. Your comfort isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Let's be honest, some of the hardest things to let go of aren't things at all. They're memories. Paper trails of our lives, menus from family dinners, old birthday cards, handwritten notes from people we miss. And yet, physical space has limits. But digital space, it holds everything. This isn't about erasing your past. It's about preserving it beautifully, accessibly, and without clutter. Start small. Scan or photograph things that make you smile. Your grandchild's drawing from second grade. The love note tucked into your anniversary card. That recipe your mom scribbled on a napkin in 1982. Store them in clearly named folders on your phone or computer. Family letters, favorite recipes, old garden photos. Add the year, add a name. Let it become your digital scrapbook. Want to take it further? Use an online service to print a photo book once a year. Title it Our Life in 2024, full of scanned memories, photos of loved ones, even a screenshot of your flower bed in full bloom. You'll have less clutter, but more joy, captured with love. One viewer told me she keeps a digital warm folder where she saves everything that makes her feel grounded. When I feel lonely, she said, I open it and remember I've lived a good life. Because your memories aren't in the paper, they're in your heart. And with a little help from technology, they'll never get lost. Your past is still yours, even if it's stored on a screen. Decluttering doesn't have to be something you do alone in silence. In fact, some of the most meaningful moments can happen when you invite someone else into the process. Call your sister. FaceTime your daughter. Invite your grandson to help you sort through that one old box in the garage. Not to clean quickly, but to remember slowly. Let one item spark a story, a photograph that brings up a laugh, a book that leads to a memory, a teacup that belonged to someone you both loved. Some of the most beautiful conversations begin with a box of old photos. If no one's nearby, join a 30-day decluttering challenge online. One item a day, one drawer, one memory. Gentle, simple, doable. Share your progress. Text a friend. Cheer each other on. Because in the end, this journey isn't about throwing things away. It's about letting light in and maybe letting someone in too. Decluttering isn't about having less. It's about living with more. More clarity, more calm, more room for joy, connection, and what matters most right now. If even one idea from today made your home feel lighter or your heart feel seen, tell us in the comments. Share this with someone who might need a little peace. And subscribe for more soulful simplicity every week. We're not just clearing space, we're making room for life.